along with the searches for his name, I also came across 58 addresses for him across the country.
For Obama or Harrison J. Bonell?
For Barack and Michelle Obama.
58 addresses?
Yes, sir. In other states, I did a state-by-state search. I literally started in California and worked my way east.
Are these properties that he allegedly owned or rented?
Well, the properties are owned by other people or rented by other people, but yet his name, Barack Obama, with different Social Security numbers are attached to these properties, and I found 3 with Michelle Obama on them.
Wait a minute. Different Social Security numbers?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's 2 of them that Barack Obama is using in Illinois, other than his. I mean, it's the one he's using now, the 042, the current one, and then another one that begins with a 62526. And that belongs to a man and a woman who are using the same Social Security number.
And what state are they in?
Ingleside, Illinois.
Any connection to Obama?
Well, I couldn't, directly connect them to that, to be quite honest and frank with you, because I didn't want to get too involved, more than what I am now, because there's 58 addresses and hundreds of names attached to those addresses.
I mean, what are we going to have to do here? A citizen arrest because the FBI won't do its job?
Well, what we can do, you're going to think I'm crazy.
No.
But what we can do, one of the names attached to these addresses is Tony Tiger and Steve Young, Kamora Simmons, Mary Gross, Bobby Womack, Tyra Banks, Nick Newman, Tom Jones.
What's your suggestion? What do we do?
Well, all these names were attached to these addresses between 2004 and 2009, so I think we can put 2 and 2 together on those.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the ones in Illinois.
How do we force the federal bureaucrats to do their job?
Well, they're not going to.
Well, how do we bring this man to justice?
Someone's going to have the courage in government, to use the information that we have. I mean, my information has actually been verified and also corroborated, by another person who, is a private investigator. And she has 20 years worth of experience in this business.
Is that Susan?
Yes, sir, it is. It's Miss Susan Daniels.
Yes, okay. She's been a guest on the program. All right.
Yes, sir. And initially, and if you know Susan like I do, that she's very thorough in everything she does. I mean, she even sent me evidence so I could corroborate it from my findings, and say about maybe 95% of it is a match.
What were your thoughts about the digital birth certificate they put on the White House website?
I made a better one over the weekend. I'm not going to lie to you. I actually put my name and my signatures on everything.
Uh-huh.
And this is what they did. Okay, they took a background. Okay, which is a safety background. It's a safety background. That they put on official documents. Okay, and actually, whenever I process checks, for my clients, whenever I go to pay them, well, I use that security background, but mine's blue on my checks, and instead of the green one. And I get those in blank sheets of paper, from the companies I get, to process my checks, for when I go to do my payouts. And what they did was they took a document and layered it on top of the blank screen or on top of the blank page. And what they did was they just basically cut and pasted. They just basically cut and pasted, and then they did it transparent. So what you do is you take you cut and paste the background, shrink it to fit. Take that background and move it over whatever you want it to cover. Then on top of that background, you put a text box. Inside of that text box, you key in you type in what you want to type in, but remember you have to use the proper font. And the font that they used was actually, it's called it's a typeset font. It's a carbon font. That's what it is. It's a carbon type font. It's a font that they used. And I had to blow it up to like 600 to 800% in order to, so that way I could look at the obvious, the obvious pixels. When a computer does it, it does it differently, than the way a typewriter does. Because you know how when you type, with a manual typewriter like they did in the 60s, you know how sometimes a letter might come up or down, or the spacing might be off, between the letters. The spacing on the letters are identical. Okay, and you can actually see the 90-degree right angles in the S's and the T's and stuff like that. And then you can also see the pixel marks, because you know how you make let's say the letter U or an S. Okay, you're going to have a 90-degree angle at the corners, for the S's, because that makes the end. And so you're going to get a straight line to make the top, and then to make the curves, it uses separate pixels to form the round edges.
What you're saying, Al, is if Obama were simply a regular citizen and he was under investigation for a criminal act, any good criminal investigator, this would be a slam dunk to put this guy in prison.
He couldn't make bail.
He couldn't make bail. Listen, Obama couldn't get a job as a janitor in a federal building or a defense contractor.
No, it would be impossible. Now, as a community organizer, yeah.
Okay.
That's the people I look for.
Who do you think this guy is? Is he just a common street hustler who's jive talked his way into the White House? Is he